episode on this podcast, which today we'll be discussing on storytelling. Why is that humans become captivated to stories? Why they get hooked when we tell stories? And the speaker grabs audience attention usually with stories. And we'll delve deeper in this topic, and we'll discuss one stories from me and Manish, and then we'll end our podcast. So Manish, can you start with one compelling story which will grab audience's attention?
Yeah, Miss Sure. I have one story in my mind regarding the frog. Uh, if you're listening to me. So there was a competition going on between the frogs, among the frogs, that who will climb the top of the pole. There was a huge pole in middle of the field, and nobody could ever went up to the top of the pole. And all the old frogs were telling that this is impossible. No frog can climb up to those, because lots of my colleagues, my friends have tried, but they in fact had to give their life trying to that. So it's not possible. It's not really advisable to even try to climb that top, go to top of the pole. This is really impossible thing. But somehow they have told, okay, young frog has lots of energy. They are doing. Let them do. Let them take a risk of their life. But again, young frog, they were so excited, and oh no, these oldies they are like that. I will try. So 5 or 6 frogs started started a competition, enrolled for the competition, and they started climbing. But the old people, because they are their kith and kins and relatives, they start telling me, why are you risking your life? I am your grandfather, grandmother. It's not a good thing. You should not try. You will risk your life. So, but those frogs, hearing that it's impossible, they thought that, okay, let's not try it. So out of the 5 frogs, 4 frogs gave up. One frog keep climbing, and then halfway of he was keep climbing. All the people, including those the competitors who gave up to the idea of climbing the rock, they were also telling the same thing. Oh boy, why are you doing this? This is not done. I don't want to see. Watch you time. This is not good. Please come down. Don't go up. Don't go. It's not possible. Why? I cannot tell you. This is not possible. But that frog keep climbing up. Step by step, he was climbing up, and after some time, he reached the top of that pole. People, all the frogs were so astonished, amazed. How could it be possible? How this frog can climb up to that level? They were very curious to ask. When that frog will come down, I will ask what happened to. How could you climb? When that frog came down, all the frog came along and asked that frog, little frog, hey frog, how could it be possible? How did you make this impossible thing possible? Or from all his frogs, that frog was deaf. That frog could not hear anything. So that is the crux of the story, is that you should not hear the negative thing. People who did not try, they gave up in the way to the goal, because they listen to the people who really did not able to climb, or did not able. They must have given up toward their hope. But that frog, since he was deaf, they did not pay heed to the opinions of others. So we should also not pay opinions of any person. We should always aim for the highest thing on, and if we have any dream, we should try hard to achieve that. We should not hear our naysayers, because there will be naysayers who had not done anything in their life. They will definitely tell you to it's not possible. It's not possible, but don't pay attention to those naysayers and those negative people.
So Manish,
Yeah, just yeah. Sorry.
with that story, I'm really inspired now to apply for top universities for my PhD. I have been because I have been getting rejections, so I thought I'll be applying for low ranking universities. With that story, I may apply tomorrow with
Yeah,
any
definitely.
universities.
Why not?
So the story which I'm going to share now is a bit very it's a bit long, and I'm not sure whether I'll be pull it off to say the story coherently, but this story has been stuck with me for almost 5 to 6 years. I remember hearing it on some Audible. It was in the book written by Jordan Peterson, Maps of Meaning, and the story's name is Cooker Doodle Doo. And let me try to say this story. Once upon a time, this guy John was going through forests, shrubs, boulders to find out what he wants to do in life, to find out his adventure or his calling. As he was going through the boulders and grass, he found a road, and beside the road, he saw a very thin, black teeth, monster kind of person, very small, very little, and he was giggling and cackling over there. And there he noticed there was two white bones in his hand, and he was drumming the log on which he was sitting. And the his name was Nom, the monster guy with very little, lots of hairs, black teeth. And he said, "Why go all the way? Why smile a smile? Because everything will go in vain. You will die anyway, whatever you do." So he approached and said, "What are you talking about?" So John said that, "What are you talking about?" The Nom said, "Why are you bothering about your life? You're gonna die anyway. Why don't you? I'll give you something which you will have it for life, and it will give you meaning or something like that." And after that, the Nom pulled the biggest ruby that man has ever seen, John has ever seen in his life. And he was completely shocked that that guy was hiding that big ruby. So the Nom offered him that, "I will give you this ruby, but how will you pay me back?" So the John said, "I will pay you back in installments." And the Nom gave the ruby to John, and it was really heavy, like 100 pounds heavy. And the Nom hid back in the he ran away in the forest, and he was vanished from the scene. And now with this heavy rock, John was really slowed down on his path. He was not able to move, so he stood there on the road, admiring his ruby, looking at his ruby. Then one of his friend come along the way, along the path, and asked, "Hey John, I am starting a business and I could really use some help. Why don't you come and join me?" John sees and is surprised that why is my friend not is not able to look at my gem and admire it. Why is he not able to do that? So because that friend was in hurry, he said, "No, you know what, I'll take care of this gem, and you go ahead. I won't be able to join in your business." That friend was really surprised and puzzled with the answer that he got from John. And that guy was in hurry, so that guy left for his business. He waited another months at the same place, holding the the gem, ruby. And another friend came along, and he said, "Hey John, I'm going to school. I'm going to learn new things. There is a lot of things in the world that I have to see. Why don't you give me a companionship? Why don't you tag me along? Come with me." John looks at him and thinks to himself that why is this guy not able to see this huge shining ruby in my hand? What is wrong with him? And also this guy was in a hurry, so John said, you know what, you go along, I have to take care of this ruby. That guy also was puzzled what John is talking about, but since that guy was in a hurry, he left. John stood there for years and years, and as years went by, the ruby got heavier and heavier and heavier, and his arms got got elongated as well. And after a couple of years, he saw a gentleman, not a thick guy, white hair, coming along, holding a rock, and looking, in a confused way to John. And John says, "Hey, why are you carrying that rock?" to that white-haired guy. And he says, "What rock? This is a gem. You are the one who's holding the rock." John was said, "My dear friend, you are extremely confused or wrong. It's not a rock, it's a ruby." Then the white guy says, "No, mine is mine. The one I'm holding, that is the ruby." Then they are fighting and arguing about their ruby, their stones, and calling each other foolish. Then behind the bushes jumps the guy, the monster. But this time he's a lot bigger with red cheeks, and he says, "Shut up, you idiots, you buffoons! You both have been holding rocks the whole time." And says, "This guy is talking rubbish, because I have been paying you, and I have been here for 20 years. Both of them were there for 20 years holding that rock." And then the demon says that, "You know what? I will give you a chance in your life. So why don't you drop your rubies on the road for some time?" And as soon as John drops the ruby on the road, he realizes that it has been stone all this along. And as the stone drops on the road, the stone splits open, and white worms comes up and eats both of them. As they eats both of them, and the only thing that remains after that is two thigh bones from each of them. So one bone from the white hair guy, and one bone from John. And the demon picks up both the bones, and he starts humming, why go all the way? Why smile the smile? Why live a life when you will die soon? What's the point of life?" And he giggles, chuckles, and goes to the log he has been sitting on the road and started drumming again. And I will the moral of the story is, it varies from, it's a very philosophical story, and it depends upon person. So I will leave that to our audience to think about it, because this story has been part of me for a long time. I've been really captivated by this story, and I really think sometimes, what does it really mean? So that was my story, Manish. I hope I was coherent and I
it
made
was
sense.
coherent and it was really long. But initial 1 or 2 lines I could not follow. But no later part I could follow everything that regarding that stone. We all may be carrying that stone, and then must be thinking that this is life, and we may not know the real meaning of life. So it stone depends very from person to person, which it's like we should live one day at a time. We should not keep burdening from maybe something from our past. I can summarize that we should not be overloaded something. Suppose it's a mistake, and if we carry it and then we keep regretting till that we are. So it's kind of emotion, sentiment, something which must be related with the past, that we all keep carrying that thing, and then we even don't know that it's really taking our day-to-day lives. That one way to interpret, but of course, audience, these depend. It will vary to person to person. That really quite intriguing and a story.
Yeah.